face getting it now? This face man getting it? Yeah? This camera can't zoom him? Then it's showing here. Throw the hand up and go, good. That should have not. This man can't control this criminal.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. We're about to begin today's proceedings. Brothers, thank you. Let us begin today's proceedings by reciting the national anthem. On the count of 3, 2, 3. Thank you very much. We'll move to the replay. At this point in time, we'd like to invite His Excellency the President, the Vice President, and all the leaders for the relaying. Thank you. We've just completed the wreath laying. I would like to welcome His Excellency the President, along with the Vice President, to this afternoon's event. We will now move to the gathering of the members. On stage, I would like to call the PYU representatives to adorn His Excellency the President, Vice President, and all the members. Every year, on and around the 6th of March, thousands of Guyanese from all walks of life, the length and breadth of this beautiful nation, converge on this exact location to give tribute and to celebrate the life and legacy of that stalwart who gave his entire life to the service of this country, who was selfless, committed, and unwavering in his commitment to the upliftment of every citizen of this country, regardless of their social standing, their ethnicity, their education, or where they lived. He united this country. He fought against imperialism. He began his political career in the 1940s, forming the first political party to fight not only for independence, but for the rights, freedom, and liberty of each and every Guyanese, with a special concentration on the working class. When you fast forward several decades, this political party, this political organization, your People's Progressive Party, CEBIT, has remained true to the values and principles of the founding father of the only political party that has ever been committed to the people of this country. He taught us that development was not only anchored based on foreign investment or foreign capital. He taught us that development should be people-centered, people-driven, and people-focused. He taught us that we should invest in our human resource, building a human capital with the requisite skills to move a Guyana that is independent, free, and committed to the development of every single Guyanese. You know his life and his legacy. We are benefiting today from his hard work. Successive leaders of the People's Progressive Party Civic have remained committed. We have seen our Vice President, then President, led this country out of poverty, one of the poorest in this hemisphere. And when we left office in 2015, we were a middle-income country. With continuity with His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, he is now leading the first industrial revolution of this country, remaining true to the values and principles of the founding father of this political party, and I dare say, the father of this nation. Make no mistake about that. We all here today can take a little bit from Dr. Cheddi Jagan and make a stalwart of ourselves. His principles, respect, his commitment to service, his understanding of people, empathy, his humility, his compassion, and his leadership that not only united a party, but united a nation, regardless of where you're from. He is not only respected by members of this party, he's respected by people across the spectrum. It doesn't matter which political party you're from. Not only here in Guyana, but he's also respected in the Caribbean, in this region, and across this globe. His legacy remains intact. We should be proud that we were graced with the presence of Dr. Cheddi Jagan, who we can embrace, who we can emulate, who has displayed the level of integrity that has allowed us to be the party we are today. This is the only political party that you can trust, that has predictability, that has the confidence of this people in every successive election. Recall, this is the political party that won the first free and fair elections in this country. And we continue to do so. We are fortunate as a country. We owe it all to the hard struggles of Dr. Cheddi Jagan. And we're here today, united, committed, and fully organized to continue to move forward, forgetting about all of the distractions, the naysayers, those who don't believe we can do it again. We can show the world, we can show the rest of this country that we are the only political party that can unite this nation and take this nation forward. So as we deliberate today and we listen to His Excellency the President, the Vice President, all the members, let us continue to remain resolute. Let us continue to remain focused. I thank you. I would like to now call on a poem. Mikhail Sankar to recite a poem. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This poem is in tribute to Dr. Cheddi Jagan, the father of our nation and my personal hero. This is Sunset. Not a pin could be heard amidst the silence as the raven made its final call within those halls of Walter Reed, delivering the inevitable message. The long journey had come to an end, marking the sunset of a golden era. Our father, the great liberator, Comrade Cheddi, was no more. Cheddi lives in you, and in me, through all of our words, our thoughts, and our deeds, as we continue to stand for freedom, once forbidden, for truth, justice, and democracy, all virtues he extolled, that he attains immortality, as we carry on the struggle. his spirit coursing through our very veins. From the early days of Port Moran to dental school in the USA, holding the hand of his better half, their journey ordained by blood. Of Rambaran, Lalabaji, Surajbali and Hari, there he made the vow, that silent pledge, standing tall from sunrise to sunset. This young boy from the estate, son of estate driver and little Barchoni, who spawned the revolution, now one with divinity. Against jail cells, riots, and puppet strings, he risked it all for us, our Papa Cheddi. His journey, defining a lifetime. His struggle, birthing a generation. He now is our eternal guide, while he looks down proud amongst the cosmos. Everything will be all right. Remember that, my friends. Everything will be all right. Walk on, Cheddi. Walk on, for your work here is done. Thank you. Long live the legacy of Dr. Cheddi Jagan. Long live our one Guyana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikhail. I will now call on Siraj, and Ms. Veersamy to do, in that order, 3 minutes of short message. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Sessional Chair, Comrade President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, General Secretary of the PPP, Dr. Bara Jagayo, all distinguished guests, comrades all. Today, I am beyond honored to share this platform at the annual Cheddi Jagan Memorial and deliver this message on behalf of the PYO, the youth arm of the People's Progressive Party Civic, founded in 1952 during the leadership of Dr. Jagan, as the PPP then recognized that youths were important and needed to be mobilized. True to form, the PYO then aided fearlessly in the fight for social justice, democracy, and independence in Guyana. And today, the PYO, the oldest and the largest youth movement in Guyana, continues the work set out by Dr. Jagan in building and equipping our youths to be future leaders. Today, comrades, I am privileged to share this platform with His Excellency the President, our General Secretary, and all other executive members of our party who came through the ranks of the PYO and who today are excellent leaders, blazing new trails in the development of our country. A testimony to the work and the importance of the PYO. Decades later today, the PYO has and continue to live up to the expectations of Dr. Jagan and the PPP, especially in the dark period 2015 to 2020, when there was an onslaught on democracy and a bold attempt by the renamed PNC to once again attempt to steal our country in the clear view of all Guyanese and the international community. The PYO then mobilized and along with the entire PPP and supporters, once again fought for democracy, even though the enemy then had not been completely neutralized, their efforts were thwarted and Guyana won. Today, at this historic event, on behalf of the PYO, I wish to commend the leadership of our party, the President and the General Secretary for their excellent leadership in upkeeping the ideology set out by Dr. Jagan when the PPP was founded. In the words of Dr. Jagan in an interview in February 1997, and I quote, "Well, I have associated myself with the ideology of the working class, and I have led a very strong working class party for the past 47 years. Different people see and call working class ideology by different names, but what is important were the concrete historical conditions in Guyana and the creation of programmatic platforms that caters to the needs of the working class. Our President, Comrade Irfan Ali, and the General Secretary of our party has ensured that the working class is at the center of our country's development, and the PYO therefore congratulates our leadership. We congratulate them for their strong commitment, especially in ensuring betterment for all of the working class, not just teachers, but doctors, nurses, servicemen and women, and all other category of workers. The PYO therefore wishes to congratulate our leaders for making dreams a reality. For the over 2,000 Amerindians like myself that were rehired under the CSO program. For the thousands of pathway workers employed throughout the length and breadth of Guyana, coming from different ethnic groups, color, and creed. For the thousands of scholarships and training opportunities given to young people daily. For better access to education, healthcare, and infrastructure. The PYO is indeed proud, and the legacy of Dr. Jagan is very much alive and well every day in this party. The largest and the only multi-ethnic party in Guyana. Comrades, long live our party, long live the PYO, and long live the legacy of Dr. Cheddi Jagan. Thanks.
Good afternoon, comrades. All protocol observed. As General Secretary of the Women's Progressive Organization, the Women's Section of the People's Progressive Party, I would like to say, on behalf of the leadership and membership of the WPO, that women today are better off than they have ever been before. And because of this, comrades, we, the women of the PPP and women of this country, is grateful that such an organization was formed called the People's Progressive Party. Comrades, we are who we are today because the PPP family nurtured our growth and development and gave us the privilege of serving our Guyanese sisters and brothers across Guyana. Comrades, between the time the Political Affairs Committee was formed in 1946 to today, the People's Progressive Party has undergone several phases. Comrades, we won the elections of 1953. Our government was suspended. While 3 women entered parliament in 1953, we have almost 37% women in our parliament today. That is not an easy task to achieve. Comrades, we won consecutive elections of 57 and 61, and because of the external manipulations, the PPP, although it won 1964 elections, we were thrown out of government. What happened after that? Rigged elections, one after the other. And as the chairman said, yes, any free and fair elections in this country, the People's Progressive Party will succeed. Comrades, we must never forget 2020. Never ever forget 2020, or else we will have to repeat it. Hamilton Green must be condemned, comrades. He must be condemned for calling on his cronies in the People's National Congress to rig the next elections. Comrades, we say never ever again. Comrades, Cheddi and Jagan is no longer with us. But we have in our midst a dynamic gentleman. Many people understood and many people understand without Bharat Jagdeo, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, our General Secretary, we would have perhaps not won the 2020 elections. Put your hands together. Comrades, we must not forget the 5 months that we were fighting night and day to protect the ballots of our people, that saw Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali becoming our president, one of the youngest in our country. And today, because of the dynamism of this group of people led by Dr. Bharat Jagdeo and Comrade Irfan Ali, we are seeing Guyana moving at a pace that we cannot even conceptualize. Comrades, never before our women has excelled as much as they have in this last 3 years. We are growing wings as strong as an eagle to fly against the wind. We have legislations that protect us. We receive better wages, working conditions, educational opportunities, and exceptional health care facilities in this country. Our children and elders are enjoying better lifestyle. And comrades, because of prudent management and strong policies, our people will live longer, healthier lives. Comrades, Guyana is expanding and developing faster than some of us can imagine. And it's like a dream that was weaved by this present team of people led by Comrade Barrett and Comrade Irfan Ali. Comrade, this is not a dream. It's a reality that it will take form, and we will all witness what is taking place in Guyana. Comrade, the vision of Cheddi Jagan and Cheddi Jagan and the sacrifices that was made by them is becoming a reality in front of our very eyes. And comrades, we as women are truly inspired, and we will stand beside the People's Progressive Party, and we will ensure that our country develop in strength, length, and breadth, comrades. As women, we will never ever allow the PNC, I don't care what they are called, to have the opportunity to rig another elections. And comrades, we will stand beside the party and protect democracy. Long live the People's Progressive Party. Long live the memory of Comrade Cheddi and Comrade Jagan.
Good afternoon, comrades. I believe that my first charge is to raise my people from the mire of poverty in which for too long they have suffered. I have never made any secret of my views. I've been thrown out of office. I've been subjected to violence, indignity, and jail. I'm willing to face these things again, and gladly, in the fight to free my people and aid them. Here I stand. Here I will stand until I die. Comrade Cheddi. Excellency, thank you, Comrade Chairman, Comrade Irfan Ali, Vice President, other members, members of the executive, members of the Central Committee. Uncle Harry, you've always been here. Members of the government, Comrade Zol, sister of Comrade Cheddi. On behalf of the Guyana Rice Producers Association, which was established in 1946, the same year as the establishment or the formation of the Political Affairs Committee, I am pleased to bring greetings to you on this auspicious occasion where we gathered once again to pay our respect to Comrade Cheddi Jagan. Comrades, many years ago, Cheddi, as a matter of fact, in 1952, 1953, he functioned as the president of the Guyana Rice Producers Association. And of that, we are honored and we are proud. He is the most rounded politician I have ever known. A worker, a farmer, a doctor, a teacher, a humanist, and all times a student. He has never ever given up that quest for knowledge from whichever forum it comes from. And I think here in Guyana we must credit a lot of our developments that are on a sustainable basis to the vision of Comrade Cheddi. In the 60s and then into the 90s, I speak about the establishment of the Torani Canal. I speak about the establishment of Blackbush Polar, of the Dawa pump stations. These would have been significant investment, taking a huge chunk of our budget, but they were intended to lay a solid foundation for the future. Today, under the presidency of Comrade Irfan, under the presidency of Comrade Barrett and other leaders of the PPP, we see a similar trend where a significant portion of our resources go towards the establishment of infrastructure that is laying a solid foundation for our future. And that is what we must be careful about. we must not fall into the trap of those who want to say we must spend all our money now and then what happens tomorrow. And I will go so far as to say that when Comrade Cheddi would have made those investments, it represents a significant amount of our resources. And we today, I think we're guided by that philosophy. Comrade Irfan, Comrade Bharat, other members of the government are ensuring that the resources that we are garnering from all sectors, traditional and now the new frontier, is going towards laying a solid foundation today for a better tomorrow. Here we, in the Rice Producers Association, share that philosophy, share that vision, and urge the People's Progressive Party to follow in the footsteps of Comrade Cheddi and continue to what they are doing, I want to just say a few words also on the international situation and to commend the government on the position that they have taken, especially in relation to the Palestine issue. The Guyana Rice Producers Association supports fully the stated government position of a two-party state as a solution to the crisis. Comrades, what gift would you like to receive from the nation? A question that was asked of Cheddi Jagan. This is his response. What I would like from them is for us to unite as one people, one nation with one destiny, as our motto says, and to be able to build Guyana, to make it a nation all of us can be proud of. I'm happy to say I am very confident that the leadership of the People's Progressive Party share this view. Thank you all very much for allowing me this opportunity to bring this greeting.
Thank you, Comrades Brown, Verisami, and Siraj. We'll now listen to reading of excerpts from Dr. Cheddi Jagan from our beautiful school kids. Give them a round of applause.
Good afternoon, members of the head table, comrades all. From this day forward, we shall need the goodwill and hard work of all our people, so that we may proceed to make our country a fit and proper home for heroes in the struggle for political and economic independence. Let there be an end to sectional, racial quarrels and suspicion, so that national unity is restored. 1961. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I believe that my first charge is to raise my people from the mark of poverty, in which for too long they have suffered. I have never made any secrets of my views. I have been put out of office. I have been subjected to violence, injustice, and jail. I am willing to face these things again and gladly in the fight to free my people and aid them. Here I stand, and here I will stand until I die. 1961.
Good afternoon, everyone. On August 24, 1964, the late Dr. Cheddi Jagan said, "If, like other poor countries, we are to break the vicious circle of poverty, we have to try to assert its root cause and to rely more heavily on our own internal resources, material and human. The job is different, but it is not beyond our capabilities, given goodwill, cooperation, and hard work on all sides."
Good afternoon, everyone. I give my solemn pledge that my government will never discriminate against any person or persons on the ground of race, religion, or political, that the essential freedom will be preserved and we will respect the rights of all. This was a quote quoted by our latest president, Mr. Cheddi Jagan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Could you please let's stand and welcome His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali to give his address.
Thank you very much, comrades.
Comrade General Secretary, members of the leadership of the People's Progressive Party, members of the cabinet, our elders, young people, but most importantly, you, the bedrock, the members and supporters of the People's Progressive Party, put your hands together for yourselves. Comrade Cheddi once said, and I quote, "Racism is the greatest curse of our land. Anyone who spread racial propaganda must be severely dealt with. Such a person is an enemy to himself and his country." And that is a fundamental principle on which the People's Progressive Party stand. We stand on the principle of national unity, on the principle of the oneness of the Guyanese people. And anyone who deviates from this principle, anyone who seeks to spread racial division, is an enemy to the country and an enemy to themselves. This afternoon, comrades, I would like to speak to you on a matter of the soul. Now, I am very conscious of the fact that I'm speaking about matters of the soul in a burial site. But the soul I want to speak of this afternoon is the soul of the country. What constitutes the soul of a country? What are the elements of the soul of a country? Those of us and those of you out there who are religiously inclined will know that the soul has a special place and purpose in life and afterlife. But the soul of the country must also be defined, because it is the soul of the country that will allow us to understand the fundamentals of the country, will allow us to understand what constitutes the value system of the country. And this afternoon, I want us to examine the soul of the country and to make a case that Dr. Cheddi Jagan led a group of persons who put together the soul of the country. The soul of the country was crafted fundamentally by Comrade Cheddi Jagan. And that is what I want to examine today. Just as each of us have a soul, so also does a free, independent, and democratic country. The soul of the free nation, however, is not a bestowed gift. It is a creation, carefully molded, like clay in the hands of a potter. Yes, the soul of the nation had to be carefully molded. The soul of our nation embodies the very essence of what the nation stands for. Its identity, its values, its aspirations. Much like a newborn infant, the soul of a nation requires nurturing and protection to grow and advance. And if the soul of the nation is its identity, its values, and its aspiration, then you will know by now that the People's Progressive Party Civic has consistently stand on a value system that protects the rights of people, that fight for democracy and freedom, that uphold the oppressed, and that lead in the revolution of thinking and advancement of our resigned. And yes, only 4 years ago, we are reminded that the soul of our country, just like a newborn child growing up, the soul can be tested. Only 4 years ago, less than 4 years ago, the evil and dark forces tested the soul of our country once more when they tried to steal the elections once again from the People's Progressive Party. But the soul withstood that test. The soul withstood that test because Dr. Cheddi Jagan Party, the People's Progressive Party, has in it the members, and the Guyana society has in it citizens who are committed to the fundamental values of the soul of our country, and they never allow the evil and dark forces to tamper with the soul of our country. And that is why, and that is a reminder to us that the soul of our country, though tested, is alive and well. And it is alive and well because the principal foundation on which the soul was developed and derived is alive and well. And that foundation is the People's Progressive Party. We are alive and well. And once the principal foundation on which the soul is derived is alive and well, then our country is in good hands, and our country will be alive and well, because the protectors of the soul, will do everything in their power and capacity for the upholding of the principal value of the soul. So today, we celebrate what embodies us as a nation. We celebrate and acknowledge one of the key architects who crafted the soul of our nation. And we pay homage to Dr. Cheddi Jagan, who crafted this, who played an instrumental role in crafting this soul. But my dear friends, let us not forget that when the soul of this nation was crafted, it was first crafted to guide us through anti-colonial struggle, the Political Affairs Committee. So when the soul, you remember, the soul of the nation came after colonial rule. We were not a nation during the colonization. Our soul was still being directed from external hands. So the soul, when Comrade Cheddi got together with the Political Affairs Committee, what was the first struggle? The first struggle was to advance Guyana, was to take Guyana out of the hands of colonial rule and to set us on a course of independence and freedom. That was the agenda. And to achieve this agenda, Comrade Cheddi realized that we had to bring together all the forces that constitute nationhood, all the forces that represented that at that time, the willpower of the people. Now the people had the willpower, but there were individuals who were positioned to represent the willpower of the people. And the Political Affairs Committee came into existence so that the soul of this country could have been created, and that is what led us onto the journey of independence. My friends, comrades, but after we achieved this independence, what we saw that the soul that was developed to advance the interests of Guyanese, that was cemented in freedom and liberty of the Guyanese people, was snatched away
it was snatched away by rigged elections. Snatched away by rigged elections. We must never forget this history. But what did Comrade Cheddi do? Comrade Cheddi did not bend backwards. What Comrade Cheddi and the People's Progressive Party did was that they fought back for the soul of Guyana. They fought to retrieve the soul of Guyana. They fought to put back the soul of Guyana on the right track. And in 1992, after 28 years of struggle, the People's Progressive Party Civic won back the soul of Guyana and brought back the freedom, the independence, the decency, the integrity of the people of Guyana. That is the soul. That is the soul that we celebrate today. My friends, this was no easy task. Comrade Cheddi had to fight oppression. Yes, he had to fight oppression. And in those 28 years, there were many who were thought to be the intellectual crafters and architects of Guyana. There were many who were believed to be the voice of the conscience of Guyana. There were many who were led to believe to be better than Comrade Cheddi Jagan and the leadership he was providing. But in the end, all of them, history will record all of them as being part of aiding and abetting the rigged system and the freedom that was taken away from the Guyanese people. Examine each one of them. Just like today, there are many who speak from the platform that they are the consciousness of the society, that they constitute the intellectual elements of the society, that they can provide better leadership than the People's Progressive Party. My friends, examine deeper their motive. Examine deeper what their aspirations are. And you would understand that the struggle then, in a principled manner, is the same struggle today. Because there's still forces out there who believe that the People's Progressive Party does not possess the finesse. We don't have the sophistication to be in government or to lead this country. Maybe we don't wear the right type of suit. Maybe we don't speak the right type of English. But what we do is always, every single day, do what is right for the people of this country. That is our fight. Our fight is for the upliftment of the people of this country. Our fight is for the safety, honor, dignity, democracy, freedom of the people of this country. Our fight is to look the children who came up here, look at them in their eyes and say, never again should you have to fight for democracy, fight for the rule of law, and fight to ensure a government that you voted got into office. That fight must be the fight we cement through institutional mechanism, so the soul of this nation, the soul of freedom, the soul of free and fair election, the soul of human dignity must be safeguarded, and that is the fight of every one of us here. And this fight cannot be won by the leadership alone. This fight requires political consciousness. Comrade Cheddi said that it is only the consciousness of the working class that can lead us to victory. It is only the consciousness of the people of this country that can secure PAP and new AFC, their foundational pillar, their foundational and principal pillar, Hamilton Green, who still exists, and let them deny that he is now their foundational pillar, say that the only way for them to ever get in office and remain in office is through rigged elections, and he called upon them to rig elections to stay in office. Those are the enemy of the soul of our nation, and we must destroy the enemy of our soul of our nation. Destroy them by consciousness, destroy them by truth, destroy them by facts, destroy them with hard work in every community, every street, and every home. That is how we destroy them, with the truth, with facts, and with political consciousness. For those of you who go to church, there's a song that you sing, "Stamp the devil to the ground." Oh, weary soul, where hast thou conscience gone? Today, on the matter of the soul, let us all commit to our inner soul, to our inner conscience, that we will do everything in our power. We will do everything that we can do to protect what has been crafted for this country, the soul of the country. When you fight for democracy, when you fight for freedom, when you fight for human dignity, when you fight for the workers who 4 years ago were on the breadline, when you fight for the children who 4 years ago were stripped of the Because We Care grant, when you fight for the pensioners who 4 years ago were stripped of their subsidies on electricity and water, when you fight for the farmers who 4 years ago were stripped of their land and land leases, land lease prices and rents were increased upon them, when you fight for the miners who 4 years ago saw 60% of their activity came to a complete end, when you fight for the forestry sector that was dead 4 years ago, when you fight for the Amerindians and indigenous people who lost 2,000 jobs and who were stripped of their presidential grant, when you fight for all of these persons, you are fighting for the soul of our country. You are fighting for the foundation pillar of our country. You are fighting for what makes us a strong society. And that is why the People's Progressive Party Civic will continue to be grateful to every Guyanese, even those who did not support us in the last election, but yet they had the national consciousness to fight for the soul of our country, and they joined us in defense of democracy, and they joined us to ensure. And you know what? Like any good religious leader, when you have the first opportunity to invite new souls, and they get to see what you are about, and they get to experience what you are about, what happens? In the church, they say they win the soul. But in the PPP, we say that the soul has come to a state of consciousness. And today, we are not only the largest national party, we are the fastest growing party anywhere here in Latin America and the Caribbean. And I want us to give a resounding round of applause to all those who have joined us in this moment of consciousness, all those who have joined us in this period when we are taking Guyana, taking the soul of our country to higher heights. My friend, today I want us to remember that Dr. Jagan, in fashioning the soul of this nation, spoke about equality. Equality, dignity, democracy. Those were foundational elements of the soul. And if you look at what we're doing today, if you examine the policies of the government today, you will see how we are staying true to these foundational elements and principles of the soul of the nation. There was a time in this country when the soul of the nation was so lost that to get an old age pension you had to pass a means test as the first criteria, and the second criteria, you had to have a PNC membership card. And to get food in the line, you had to get a PNC membership card. And if you were in the public service and Congress was coming, you would get a deduction on your pay. And comrades who are in the PNC told us this. You will get a deduction on your pay slip, and you will get a note saying thank you for your contribution. That was how the soul of the country was tested, hijacked. Only recently, we had a reminder about the soul of the nation. When the first thing that occurred, when the then APNUSC government came into office, 7,000 sugar workers sent packing, 2,000 plus Amerindians sent packing, bauxite, thousands of workers sent packing. The soul of the nation was lost for 5 years. It was wandering. Today, the soul of the nation has been recaptured in its full glory of what it was made for. That we now have a Because We Care grant, and any child from any community benefits equally from that Because We Care grant. Our dialysis program, anyone in Guyana requiring dialysis, you get an annual check. Our new program for cervical cancer, any woman, every single woman in this country is entitled to the voucher to get that check. Our old age pension, the only qualification that you're required to do to get is to acquire the age, reach the age. And now so much people reaching the age, them younger ones saying drop the age a little bit now. There was a time when the pensionable age was 60 and life expectancy was 58. They were not even expecting you to live to your pension. Today, we are increasing the pensions. We are giving 1 month bonus pension every year. And guess what? Life expectancy has gone past 71 years. We must never ever believe that these things are experimental or by accident. These things are by carefully crafted policies and programs. And that is how we ensure equality. That is how we ensure equity of access. Today, we are working on programs to put more disposable income back in the pockets of people. Whether it is the part-time employment program, and this is not taking away people from from the workforce. These are people who are never in the workforce. Most of them were housewives. We are giving them an opportunity to build their independence and to ensure that they are in a better position to be a part of the transformation. When you look at the part-time program, if you have a low-income loan, through that part-time program, you can repay every month that low-income loan and still have money in your pocket. And yes, we can't do all at once, but something gotta be seriously wrong with your conscience if you cannot acknowledge today that life has become tremendously better in the last 4 years in this country. And it has become better for all segments of the Guyanese population. My friends, when we talk about social justice and economic justice as an important part of the soul of the nation, we have to understand how we build social and economic justice. Social and economic justice is not only about pensions or the textbooks or the exercise books or the Because We Care grant or the cash grant. Social and economic justice is about how we build national wealth, how we build community wealth, how we build individual wealth. And how are we doing this? Let me give you a simple example. If you go to a community 4 years ago that had no roads, and today we have roads, a road network in that community, at an average, the value of every property in that community will go up by at least 25%. When that value goes up, what happens? What happens? Your net value as a family goes up. Instead of having a house that 4 years ago was worth $4 million, you now have a house that is worth almost $5.5 million. That is how you build social and economic justice. You invest to transfer value, to create wealth, to transfer wealth. The development we're doing at Palmyra, billions of dollars. What will that do? That will transfer more value to the wealth and assets in this region. New hotels, stadium, private hospitals, the new hospitals we're building in the region. When we build the new canal, the Hope Light Canal, which will start in another 3 months, when we do this, the risk of flooding will reduce by 60% in this region. When the risk of flooding reduces by 60%, the risk for financing your project becomes lower with the bank. And if the risk becomes lower, the access to financing becomes easier. But much more importantly, when the risk to the damage by flooding is reduced, the value of our land increases. So when we build the new road network and the new drainage facility for your lands, we are not only giving you drainage and irrigation for your productive capacity, we are also increasing the value of your land. We are increasing the value of your asset. We are increasing your net worth. And these are important aspects of social and economic justice that we overlook sometimes. When we build new hospitals, when we give your children new schools in this region, your children now can become a nurse studying right here in this region. Your region has one of the most advanced technical institutes in this region with an FPSO simulator, one of only 10 in the world. Your region will have a new hospitality training institute in a new hospital that we are building in New Amsterdam. There will be a partnership with the University of Western Leeds School of Medicine. Those are the investment we are making so the next generation of young people, your children, will have a far more productive and brighter future in this region. That is social and economic justice. When we invest to create opportunities that will give you a better shot at the future. When we invest in opportunities to grow your household income. When we invest in opportunities to empower you. More than 30,000 scholarships under the Gold Scholarship Program alone. With more than 60% of those are females. Women who never had an opportunity are now having an opportunity under the People's Progressive Party civic government. That is what Comrade Cheddi was talking about when he said that part of the soul of the nation is social and economic justice. Social and economic justice are foundational pillars for health and education justice, for social infrastructure justice, and we have stayed strong and committed to this aspect of the soul of the nation. My friends, when you speak about democracy, I just want to take a quiet moment and look at all those who are talking now. They go with ease on social media or the letters column, and they can cuss any leader of the PPP. They can tell us what they want, and they can say what they want. Not so long ago, 4 years ago, for 5 years, these very people were afraid to say, They were afraid to say, Their mouth went somewhere else. But guess what? This is another example of the soul of the nation, when you have that freedom to say whatever you want to say under the People's Progressive Party civic government. But make no mistake, we have the freedom to respond also. This time, a long time, the counter force will be equal and superior to the force you bring to us. And our General Secretary has been leading. Nowadays, I went to a community and they say we can't wait for Lucky Thursday. So I said, why you call it Lucky Thursday? They said, who ain't get last lucky? But what Lucky Thursday is about, it's about building the political consciousness of the people. And that is why they will attack the General Secretary morning, noon, and night. Because they're afraid. They're afraid wherever the political consciousness of the people is uplifted, they become afraid. Because they know once your political consciousness is uplifted, you will be conscious about every decision you make. So they will call you all kinds of names. Bad. I want to know how you know he's strong. Be careful, we're speaking about matter of the soul. And next day we're gonna address matters of the heart. So comrades, on every Thursday, And it's not an easy task. The political leader of the party takes time to explain the truth and the facts so that never again can lies and betrayal form the basis on which the Guyanese people make decisions. We went through this over and over again. When we were in government to build the Marriott, they said the Marriott was corrupt. And when they come into office, they will turn it into a hospital. The only thing they did when they come into office was to eat breakfast every morning at the Marriott. And Sira said he know they eat lunch and dinner too. He got a bill. Comrades, what are they doing again today? Every single, look at it. Today, if it wasn't for these people, we would have already cut the price of electricity by half with our Miles Falls Hydro project. You check it. How many years since then? 2017, that's 7 years. If you pay like bill, 10,000 per month, 60,000 per year, 7 years. So you know what? If your like bill was at a minimum of $10,000 per month, they took away from you because they killed that project almost $500,000. If your like bill was $100,000, they took away from you almost $4.5 million by killing that project. Can you imagine? An investor coming in to spend more than $300 million US. An investment that is critically needed. Yesterday, a group came to me from the US and they want Guyana to be the host country for their national symposium. And I asked them, what is it we need to do? They said we have to have one facility that can take off 1,000 persons with conference facility, ballroom facility, rooms. You check if you have 1,000 people in your country and each one of them spends $500 US, what it means to the ordinary people, what it means to the shops, the taxi service. But again, we see the very forces at work. Every time we try to make big steps, big moves, what do we see? The same forces at work. And I want to warn you, this is not going to get easier. There is something called AI. And they will deploy it. They will deploy it. They will make the General Secretary voice, Shan Nokta voice, Tulfi voice, sound exactly like them. And by the time you dispel that falsehood, they will have influenced minds. The only thing that can beat AI is knowledge and consciousness. And the only way you can get knowledge is by seeking it from the right source. That is why all of you, all of our activists, you now have to empower yourselves with the truth. And let me say this, we are not asking you to spread propaganda and falsehood. All we are asking you to do is to tell the truth. You know, they will write whole day about 4 pump stations not completed 3 years. But they will not say that those contractors will be on the penalty and that they will have to pay liquidated damages. They will not say that the ministry will take against them, they will want to make it look to suit their objective that this is a corrupt act. No one who break the law or who do not fulfill their contractual obligation to this country will be allowed to do so. We have made it very clear to all the PSs, all the ministers, that the law must take precedent, and wherever liquidated damages must be charged, it will be charged. We don't hide from the facts. Yes, there are delays on some of the contracts, not because of the government. You examine the supply chain crisis. 2 years of COVID. 2 years of COVID. All of this people forget, you know. You forget that in 4 years, this government that has delivered so much to you, in 4 years, we had to overcome COVID for 2 years. We had to overcome 3 major floods. We have to overcome some of our worst national disasters. We had to overcome the worst food crisis in the world. We had to overcome one of the worst droughts. And 5 months of hardship. We forget this too. I say today, in closing, that the political consciousness of our people is a critical part of the soul of our country. And all of us, together, we have a duty. One of the beautiful things about the party, one of the things that I admire greatly, and the General Secretary and I, we speak about this all the time, is the number of young people that are coming to us. And they're coming to us because they see hope. They see an opportunity to be part of something good for Guyana. They see us as that national unified force that can do what is right for Guyana. I close by saying that this government, this People's Progressive Party civic government, we are committed to doing every day what is right for Guyana and what is best in the interest of the Guyanese people. I thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your inspiring remarks. The consciousness of the party, the consciousness of the country as a whole. We will now move towards the drumming by Indian and African drummers. Thank you. Thank you, drummers. Please stand and help me welcome your General Secretary, our General Secretary, the General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Civic!
Thank you very much. Mr. President, colleagues, supporters of the party, as General Secretary, my first task is to thank all of you for being here today. We know many of you have traveled from very far to come to this activity, a place that we come to every year to pay homage to the founding father of our party, and also to give you a review of the challenges faced by our party and government. And therefore, you've heard extensively from the President as to some of the challenges we confront in managing this country. We're very fortunate that Dr. Jagan laid out a philosophy for our party to which we remain faithful, and that successive leaders have embraced that philosophy and have acted consistent with its implementation, giving it life. President Irfan Ali is the latest in a line of leaders who have done so, and who has done so admirably. From here, he goes on, he leaves tonight to Jamaica to chair a meeting that will seek to bring order and restore some faith to the people in Haiti. Because in that country, the criminals now have taken over the country. There is no government. It is becoming a failed society. A lot of it because of external ambiguity. And I've seen President Ali give leadership to that process. And many times I say this because you would have heard also from APNU, because many times they try to control our minds. Yesterday, it was not yesterday, Thursday, I had a conversation with someone, and I've had several conversations with people who come to Freedom House. And she said to me, she is a hardcore member of the PNC who has come to us. And she said to me, they toy with people's emotions. And that is how they kept us enslaved, because they touch you in your hearts. They say the things that people can willingly forego and ignore all the progress that the country is making because they touch the emotive issues. And so they say to the people of this country, we don't like the Haitians. We stopped, when the PPP came into office, we stopped the Haitians from coming to Guyana. But what were the facts? The facts were that 40,000 Haitians were smuggled through Guyana. Smuggled through Guyana with people complicit working with APNU. They collected money to smuggle them, bring them here, pass them through the airport, take them to the border with Brazil, and smuggle them out the country. They made millions of US dollars smuggling 40,000 Haitians through our country. They didn't love the Haitians. It was a money-making venture. The people who are opposed to that, because we stopped it, are opposed to it not because they love the Haitians, but because it affects them in their pockets. It was corrupt. But they mischaracterized it. Said, oh, Haitians are of African origin. Therefore, the PPP didn't want them here. It's not true. It's not true. People didn't stay here, the 40,000 Haitians. They were smuggled through this country. And so, today I want to talk to you about some basic truths. The first basic truth that we understood a long time ago, that this country can never develop fully, can never meet its full potential unless all of the people benefit from the progress. That is, people of every race, every religion. You've heard the young people read excerpts from Cheddi Jagan. In the 60s, when we had the externally inspired confusion and riots, because if you read the source documents now, you would see that it was the British and the Americans that came here to divide our people because they did not want us to achieve independence under Cheddi Jagan. They believed that he would have changed the power dynamics in the area. And so they divided our people. Cheddi Jagan was under pressure. You had people on the streets in the riots. But you heard what he said. We have to remain faithful to national unity and bring in our people across races together. And we understood that. We have lived that in every single PPP government. You go back to our policies throughout the period when we had no money. APNU left us a bankrupt country in 1992, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can listen, read the source documents. You can look at Carl Greenwich's affidavit in the green mining construction, and you will see what type of country it was. And we made sure, in spite of those challenges, that our country moved forward and all of our people moved forward. So if today, again, the buzzword for APNU again, racism, that's the only political tool they use to mobilize people. And they say that they are in favor of Afro-Guyanese. But Afro-Guyanese were some of the worst treated people in the 5 years they were in office. You go and talk to the people in Linden, and all the jobs that they promised, zero. Zero housing, nothing for them. So they don't love Afro-Guyanese. It's elitist. The few of them, like some of the ministers, were getting all the sweets. They got the scholarships, they got the land, they got the contracts. You had Cathy Hughes in her own ministry approving contracts for herself, her own company. This was what happened. The people of the country suffered. Contrast that with the PPP. If you look at this crowd, if you look at our activities, if you look at our programs, and that's the worst nightmare for APNU, that all of our people right across Guyana, in spite of their race, they're benefiting from the People's Progressive Party. That's a fundamental difference between us. So some people may believe, oh, APNU is fighting for us. They're not fighting for you. They're fighting for themselves. The only party that you can find a home in, if you're Afro-Guyanese or Amerindian or mixed or Indo-Guyanese, that will ensure that you and your children see progress, sustainable progress, is the People's Progressive Party. Yes. It's a People's Progressive Party. That is. Who? And the Portuguese. The few of them who were with us, and all of them are with us now, right? So, this is important. And if we don't understand that, we would allow what happened in the period before 2015. Let me tell you what they used to do. They will send the AFC to Berbice, and on the television here, they will say the PPP is doing everything for Afro-Guyanese in Region 10. They're neglecting you who are supporters of the PPP. They will go to Region 10. APNU will now go to Region 10. In 2015, we'll be duped. We'll fall prey to this. So they go and tell the people in Linden now that they're giving the sugar workers all the money. Look at the sugar workers, big subsidies for sugar workers. This year's budget, $5 billion subsidy for sugar workers. But it's the sugar industry we're trying to keep that has an impact on the whole of Berbice. But in the same budget, we have $5 billion of subsidy for Region 10. They wouldn't mention that because we're even-handed. We want to make sure that was a historic subsidy for electricity. The only region that has a subsidy for electricity. And they're back at it again. Norton is in the hinterland now, talking to Amerindians now, telling them how we are discriminating against them. The Amerindian communities have never seen the type of progress they've ever seen now under this government. I can list the things, but I'm not going to list what we're doing here today. I just want you to capture this idea. If we're not careful, they will succeed in dividing our people again by picking them off one by one, by appealing to their emotions. They would say, oh, look at they're doing something there. That's the first thing we have to be careful about. Secondly, there's another battle being waged. They believe again they can go back to the 2015 era and say to people, oh, the PPP is corrupt once again. The PPP is corrupt. Every single day, they are in the media and they have an idea how to do everything better than we have done. So let me tell you, part of our job was cleaning things up. They had 5 years in government to prove corruption on all the things they talk about that when we were in office. The president mentioned Marriott. Marriott was supposed to be corrupt. They found that 100% of Marriott is owned by the government of Guyana, the people of Guyana. Kite Shore News for 5 years before 2015 said, not before 2015, thereafter in that period, said, I own the Marriott. Many people ask me for free room at the Marriott. They believe I actually own the thing. Another said, they said, I own an airline. So Shirley Edwards, one of our comrades, called me, senior person, a member of parliament, central committee member. Bart, can you get 2 tickets to me on the airline? It was so persistent. And the lies and lies that they told, and Kite Shore News is once again back telling these lies. They never admitted to the lies. They just told a bigger lie. And so, once again, some of our own people start repeating the same lies without seeing the bigger motive, that it's political in nature. So today, headline says, we spent $75 million in a hotel to house children who we are training, the nurses, the trainee nurses and midwives in region 2. It's a total lie. I called Frank Anthony last night. They're putting out a statement. You will see what the actual numbers are. But if you can put that as your lead headline today, by the time we get around to correct it, the Kite Shore News will never put the correction here. They will never put a correction. But they will that will persist in people's minds. Oh, they spent $75 million to pay a hotel for the students who are there. It's a blatant lie. Every single day you see it because they have a political motive. And we have to make sure that we do not fall prey to that. You see all sorts of opinions. Starbrook News, guest editor. Guest editor doesn't have a name. So they say the vilest things about the government without no accountability. They're cowards. A peeping Tom doesn't have a name. In most serious newspapers, you have to identify who you are and defend your opinion. So that's a license for them to tell all the lies because they don't have to say who they are. They're using that. They're using social media to spread their lies. And if we're not careful ourselves, because it's so overwhelming, it's so incessant, it's on a daily basis, that we may start believing it once again. And that's why we need you to be conscious. Do you think it's a pleasure to listen to the Kaichor News come with a reporter at my press conference and ask me 15 questions, and I take all of them, and they're stupid questions, really stupid questions, ignorant questions, the worst sorts of questions. But I spend time going over material that we've gone through many, many times because I want to make sure that people hear the explanation. The oil and gas sector, another thing you hear about, oh, they couldn't fulfill their programs because they didn't have oil money. This is the new thing they're telling everybody, that the government is flush with oil money. You must stop working. You can get a grant from the government that you can live without working. The United States of America has the biggest economy in the world. They're the largest producer of oil and oil. One of the largest exporters of gas now in the world. And people work 2-3 jobs there to make a living. Here, we got an economy that is small. Just the oil and gas sector is growing, but we must stop working and get free money because it's a political thing. They want to say, oh, the government not giving you the oil and gas money, or the oil and gas money funding everything. Well, let me tell you something. In the budget that we just passed, less than 30% of that budget is financed from oil and gas resources. Less than 30% of it. If we use all the money from the oil and gas sector that we received in 2023, it is less than 30% of the budget that we're implementing this year. The oil and gas money alone, when you pay wages and salaries and pension, that is over 50% of all the oil money that we receive. So we're not flush with oil money. Imagine less than 30% of your budget. The rest has to come from elsewhere. So how are we going to distribute what we don't have? Norton Kid keeps saying, oh, we should give everybody $5 million a year. Well, that would be 20 times more than we're collecting from the oil and gas sector now. 20 times more he wants us to give to people than we're collecting from the sector. And you can see these figures, but it sounds good. And many of our people are saying, where the oil money there? Where the oil money there? We ain't getting the oil money yet. So, if you don't understand this sort of thing, then we will be in big, big trouble. The next thing they say, oh, don't spend on infrastructure. Give all the money in cash. So one man wrote a letter saying that he went to the market, he paid $50 for an apple, and his 3 mango for $1,000. And We should stop building all the pumps and give the subsidy to the people to produce mangoes. Well, you got to understand a couple of things about that. One, the apple is produced and they wax it and save it. It's an industry, so you get it all year round. We got mango season. When the mango's done, the prices just go up. I know that historically, when the mango season done. But he wants us to stop building all the pumps. And next year, because there are 20-something of those pumps that are being put in place, 20-something that will help to save the farmers. I remember the same thing. The Guyana Human Rights Association, Stabrook News, the Guyana Association of Professional Engineers were opposed to me when I was president doing the Hope Canal. I used to go with Cheddi Jagan every rainy season in the Mahaica and Myconia Barry areas. People are flooded because we had to release water from the conservancy in the river. We couldn't take it into the Atlantic. They were opposed to it. They said we must not build that canal. Since the canal has been opened, we've never had another flood in those areas where we've had to release, caused by the release of water from the conservancy. We spent $16 million US on that canal, but we saved in a single crop maybe $25 million US because the farmers used to lose their rice. People have to learn to think long term. So they're saying roads. I was giving another example. Some comrades, I went out in the community and they said to me, we ain't get nothing since the government come in the PPP. We support the PPP. We ain't get nothing yet. We just built a road for $50 million in front of 30 houses. That means you spent over $1 million per household to give them a better road there that Upton would have never. Where you have farmers who have to get help, miners who have to get help, bauxite workers who have to get help. People in every sector have to get help, not just in the public service. On the other hand, we have done quite a bit of changes in the public service itself. Take, for example, education. We've increased the budget from $52 billion in 2019 to $135 billion in education. That is a 160% increase. It's not just wages. It is funding, training opportunities, it's better classrooms, it's new schools, because we want to deliver a first world type of education. That shows a commitment to education. We can't just pay every cent. So if we give all of it to teachers' salaries, and then the same thing, you don't have classrooms, the roof leaking, etc. People are going to complain about that. We're spending now nearly $700,000 per child. In the private sector, if you send your child to private education, in a year you will pay, the fees will be $300,000. Less than half of what the state is going to spend this year per child, because we've outlined this goal. In the health sector, the increase has grown from 30-something billion to nearly $30 billion, an increase of 260%. That is in a 4 years period. And why? Because right now we're building 12 new hospitals and we're putting in place rehabilitating hospitals right across the country, the older ones. In Linden, where we're not building a new hospital, we're spending $30 million to upgrade the Linden Hospital. But here in Berbice, you'll have 2 state-of-the-art type of hospital. So the pensioners can then go there too. We're not only doubling old age pension in the 5 years that we promised, but the pensioners who may need better health care, they can go there. That the people who may now need a CT scan doesn't have to pay for it or go to Georgetown to get it. It will be free. That's why you have to have a long-term vision for this country. So we must be careful everybody becomes populist. Oh, we got to get more money all the time. But if we do that, now spend every cent. And this is the APNU philosophy. When we say we have a long-term plan, they used to say when we say the word we, that we mean Indians. When I say we, I mean PPP, which is a party made up of Indo-Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese, Amerindians, every other race in this country. So when I said we are different than APNU, I mean we here, we're different. We're looking to the future. We're looking to create value. We want our children to study, not just 100 scholarships and ministers and their families would get it, like Simona Broom's got. We spent probably $70 million for 2 of our kids that were not even Guyana scholars, but we have now 27,000 people on the Gold Scholarship Program now studying. 27,000 children right across the country, all 10 regions of Guyana. It's a difference. Norton wants us. He said, if I win, we'll support your rent. We don't want people to rent, we want them to own. That's why we have a housing program. If you come to the PPP, we're different. We're different. We're not going to rent. We want everybody to own a house in this country, their own home. When we say we want to create wealth for people, we mean you must get a house, you must get a car, you must have a vacation, all of this. People at the top, we want the businessmen to grow, to create more jobs. They say, we're pro-private sector. Of course we're pro-private sector because we want them to invest more and create better jobs. They practically destroy the private sector. The miners, as the president told you, the miners, they promise them, and this brings me to another issue, they promise trustworthiness. What is the currency of a political party? What's the only thing that you can believe in a party? It's not how people look who run the party. It's not how they look, their ethnicity, etc. It is their program. Not just how much they can promise, because everybody could promise. Glenn Lau could promise you the moon and the star. You got all kinds of, some who are trying to challenge us, but they better be cautious. They got to come right. Because it's a free country politically, but they may have interpreted our being quiet as a sign of weakness. It's not so. When the right time comes, we deal with them. But you have others who talk all the time, every day, outdoing each other for promises, making promises. So, is it the promise that you judge a party by, or by its delivery on the promises? APNU made promises in 2015. Everything under the sun. They would clean up corruption. They ended up 3 years, did not submit their statements to the Integrity Commission. Now we have charged several APNU ministers. Patterson is in before the court. Now he's charged because he took an unsolicited bid contrary to our Procurement Act to the cabinet and awarded the contract. That's illegal by law. He's before the court. The same Patterson awarded a contract, this ministry awarded a contract to one of their consultants from Jamaica to supply scales. The scale never came to Guyana. Charged for that before the court. Jordan has been charged for corruption because they sold properties worth millions of US dollars for tens of thousands of dollars. They sold a ton of land, transported the land before we came in. In fact, changed the ownership of the land without collecting a cent. We've had to take back all those lands. Look at Wales. They gave out all the lands at Wales. We need land to build 14,000 house lots of people. We're taking it back there, right there, so that the people in Region 3 can get it. They gave it all out. But what's happening now? The courts of this country We can't even get one of them tried so far. They've been charged almost 3-4 years. You bet if it was a PPP minister, they would have already tried him and convicted him as they tried to do in the past when they had no evidence of corruption. The same thing is happening with the rigging case. They commissioned an international COI concluded that the chief elections officer, the deputy, and Mingo were all complicit with in a plot with APNU. This is an international, the findings of an international COI, that they were complicit to rig the elections. We can't get their cases heard again. So we need to ensure, and they get a free pass. Patterson suddenly becomes a consultant or writes articles for the Starbuck News. They forgot all about the corruption in the past. So we need to ensure. Okay, all right. The president has to go now. He has to fly. Let's stand and thank him for being here. He has to go to Jamaica now. You want to go to Jamaica? Irfan carried this girl here to Jamaica. No, Irfan is a married man, unlike me. Yeah, I could say that, right? I forgot that before the first lady. The first lady called me next thing and said, that's what you're encouraging? All right. Relax. Go and sit down there. I don't. All right, okay. So the thing is that we have to ensure that all of these issues, that we deal with them definitively. Today I can go on and talk to you about a lot of these things. What we need to do, as the president said, is to raise our own level of consciousness. The own level of consciousness. If we don't do that, the same forces are going to come back and dupe us. So, once again, as I said before, Ramjatan now back in Berbice to tell the sugar workers who they fired, the 7,000 sugar workers, that he loves them once again. He loves the sugar workers. In Parliament, he says, the sugar industry is a black hole. You shouldn't put more money, but they're back at it again. So I want all of you to be conscious of what we are battling here. We have a clear vision. Norton said, the PPP, we should go back and use the National Development Strategy. So the National Development Strategy, when asked by the media, wasn't that a document by the PPP? He said no, it was produced by civil society. I know because Cheddi Jagan asked me to lead the team, and I handed that over to him. We have a clear vision. We have plans for every sector. They do not have plans for these sectors. So what I wanted you to do today, I know it's late and people have to go back very far. So I hope that you're going to pay attention to all these things, the challenges that we're facing. This is a party that makes a big difference in people's lives. You have seen it, a party that works with energy, a party that has a clear vision, and all of you are going to be part of it. So thank you very much for being here. We remain true to Cheddi Jagan's vision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, General Secretary. Let us remain vigilant and true to the vision of Dr. Cheddi Jagan. Please take your time, get home safely, and continue to be strong and committed. Thank you.